playing like a Houston guy or a Denver receiver, then maybe you can go one or the other. That can maybe be your tiebreaker between the two. But other than that, nothing really too crazy here. So let's scroll down, and then there really isn't anything else worth mentioning. Yeah, nothing here that can help us out. Okay. Receiver time. Actually, we didn't see if Zeke was playing. Hold on. Let me see if we can quickly get a Zeke update if he's questionable. So he's questionable. We don't know if he's going to play. If he can't go, yeah, Ramondre is going to be a very good play. So a lot of good running back plays, which comes with like bad weather games too, because like passing gets suppressed, right? Tyreek Hill, $9,600. Yes, I'd do it. He hasn't had he's had the 20-ish point games, right? But the guy hasn't had his like 150 for 2 touchdown game in a while. He's had 150 for a touchdown, but I mean, this guy's like pure gold, man. Like, look at this guy's stats. He's like money. So since let's count the number of games where like he's had a bad week, okay? So he started off the year 47 and a half. Jesus, my God. Then 15, bad. Buffalo, bad. So 4 games where he was held under 15 points, right? Everything else is pretty much 25 or up. Like that this is gold, man. Like this is why he's priced at 9,600. Like you have so out of 11 games, 4 out of the 11 is going to be 15, which if he only gets you 15, you're kind of screwed. But more likely than not, he's going to pop. And if he's going to go over 20, you want him. And he has a really good matchup there. Keenan Pass. It's questionable. I don't really like the way Chargers are heading. I don't want anything to do with it. He's being used a lot too. He might be like really like exhausted or whatever. AJ Brown has been very quiet lately. So if we pull this up, looking at the game log here, like you can see he hasn't had a 100-yard game since week 8 when he dropped 36 on Washington. This might be the week. I definitely advocate for AJ Brown here, and it's a favorable matchup for him too. Amon-Ra St. Brown is sort of like in a similar predicament as AJ Brown, where look, he went for 156 against the Chargers, but he's getting his targets. He's just not hitting, like, he's not getting crazy yardage or missing a touchdown. So he's just missing like these 30-point games. He's a good one too. Great stack. Next one we have is Cup. That we want to ignore. We don't know what's been going on with the Cup. It's been like one of his worst seasons to date, so you want to be careful. He might be injured. He has a tough matchup. Pass. Evans. Look, Carolina's secondary is not third best in the league. That's not what this means. That it just means that people like to run on them because they're controlling the game. Bryce Young was just giving them turnovers and they're running the ball. Like Evans is fine, and I think Baker's gonna want to really stick it to his former team. Like, yeah, you chose that guy over me. All right, let's go. He's gonna have a chip on his shoulder. Waddle, I could see too, but just feel like this might be a little bit of a hill. Let me go ham type of game. Tank Dell, if he's cleared, he'll be good. So we need to monitor that. I don't feel like this is going to be a Devontae Smith game. I think this is going to be an A.J. Brown, like, let me dominate the Eagles sort of thing. Ayuk, I like too. Obviously a great matchup. So a great in-game one, A.J. Brown and Ayuk. That can definitely be a nice one. And then Pittman, yeah, I don't know. Pittman and Puka, I'm not too crazy about. They're expensive. Puka has a bad matchup, and then Pittman is it's it's going to be tough to trust Gardner Minshew in 12-mile-per-hour winds. So, expensive guys, rounding them up. Number one play, I'm going to go with A.J. Brown. And I'm going with A.J. Brown because he's been quiet-ish for him. Tyreek Hill's next. And then I like Ayuk and honorable mention to Mike Evans. So those are the four. That's how I would round it up for the expensive guys. Dell honorable mention too, but we don't know if he's going to play. Okay, now let's go into the more mid-range territory. I don't know. This is expensive mid-ish. Olave, we don't know if he's going to be cleared. It could be a good matchup for him, and no other Saints receivers. I mean, if you get word that Olave cleared concussion protocol, and we know no other Saints receivers are playing, this could be a really good spot for him. He was carving Atlanta up. He had like 100 yards in 2 quarters, so Carr was really looking his way. I could see him doing the same thing against Detroit. Nico, I'd pass. Yeah, I just feel like Dell's the number one guy there. I don't want to pay up for Nico. Thielen against Tampa, maybe, but it's just, he's so expensive. He's going to get his targets. Bryce Young's just so nasty that it's like hard to trust this, but he will for sure get his targets. He'll get like 10 targets. He hasn't had a 20-point game since week 6 when he was like going crazy, right? He started off so hot, man. Look at this. Look at those stats. But yeah, as of late, like he's been so quiet, which is good because that means that people aren't going to be on him as much, but he's so hard to trust. They can't do it. Godwin, questionable. Now, that's something you want to watch. If Godwin's out, Evans is going to get even more targets, and Rachaad White. So that's boost to the other Tampa pass catchers. I don't think I would trust Otton or Palmer, but is Evans questionable too, or is he good to go? Oh, he's good to go. Damn. If Godwin's out, that can be a big game for Mike Evans. Debo is going to be good too in this one. I like it. Either him or Ayuk, like I'm okay starting both, starting one or the other. But if you look at Debo, he's being used a lot more. He's usually used when there's a very like important game on the line or something like that. So check this out, like in that Jacksonville game where they had to win coming off a bye and a 3-game losing streak or whatever, he had 15.9 points, 1 touchdown, 3 carries. Against Seattle on a short week, Thanksgiving home away road division game, they used him a lot too. He had 9 targets, whatever. So yeah, I think Debo's been talking a lot of junk, so he's probably gonna come up and show like really have a good day against Eagles. So I don't think it's like if you really want to lean into the Philly game, you can go like Hurts, Brown, Debo, Ayuk. That's fine. You're not going to have much salary for much else, so you're going to probably have to start Zach Moss at that point in a bad defense and a really bad tight end, but damn, that is a heavy stack. That's how you win the Millie Maker, though. Okay, Hopkins I like too, but he's not my favorite mid option. Garrett Wilson, I can't trust anything with Tim Boyle, so ignore that. So, okay, let's round up the mids. We need to watch Olave if he's going to start. So there's a lot of like monitor situations here. Monitor Olave. If he's the only Saints receiver, he has the green light. Godwin, if he's out, we don't like him, but it boosts up Evans in my rankings. And then I like Hopkins. I don't love him. So my number one play in this 6,000 to 6,900, I think would be Olave if he's cleared. If not, Debo. Okay, let's go to the cheap options now. Cheaper options, I should say. Cooper, hard to trust. We don't know what's going to happen with Flacco, so pass on that. McLaurin, definitely pass. He's going to go up against Ramsey and Howard. You don't want anything to do with that. Sutton's cheap. Sutton's been on a tear, guys. Like, if you open him up, I think he's had a touchdown in 3 straight games. Let's look at his game log. Well, I guess before that, he was on a tear. He played against Cleveland secondary, which is really good, like we were talking about. And even though Broncos won by 17, like, Sutton didn't really play much of a role. But look at this, man. The guy's been a freaking machine. He's had a touchdown in all but 3 games this year. So 1 is against Cleveland secondary, 2 is against Jets secondary, and 3 against Washington, which is a little strange. So like those are 2 of the top secondaries right there. So if he's not going up against an elite secondary, this guy is money. So at 5,400, you could do a lot worse. Josh Downs. I like this one a lot too. Brown's injured, so I'm gonna skip over him. I think he'll play, but like I'm a little nervous about him. I'm excited about Downs. He had 13 targets last week, so could be a good one. 5,100. He's priced good. I like that. Deontay Johnson feels disengaged, guys. He had that like drop or whatever in the game. He got into it with Minka and Fitzpatrick. I would be more excited about Pickens this week than Deontay. I think this can be a nice Pickens day. And then we have London. I would ignore because he's going up against Sauce. No, thank you. No way. Judy. Yeah, I'd rather go Sutton, and then we'll call it with. Okay, so we know that Shaheed's out, and we'll call it at Dotson. I don't like Dotson either. Again, Miami secondary, I know it's ranking 21st, but this is the full season ranking. Ramsey and Howard are healthy now. That D is really coming together. You don't want anything to do with that. So, from my mid to cheap guys, number 1 play, I'm going to say I would go 1 Sutton, 2 I'm going to go Pickens as my number 2. And then 3, I like Downs from that list. And the reason why I like Pickens here is Arizona D's not that great against receivers, especially like alpha wide receivers. Like Pickens is an alpha. And if Pickett and him get something going at 4,800, this guy has pop potential. So I like that. That's what I wanted, my $4,800 guys. Okay, let's go down the list. So Noah Brown, you want no business with because he's questionable going up against he's also not probably going to be used as much if he plays, just given like how good Tank Dell is and the other options on that team, even though he was on a tear before. Douglas is out. Samuel, I think we're safe to ignore. I don't think the guy's going to have back-to-back weeks where he goes crazy. He had the Thanksgiving game where he went for 100 yards, but yeah, I just don't see him doing it twice. Quentin Johnston, probably one of the worst receivers in the league. Chargers are really whiffed on this pick, so pass on that. Woods, I don't want anything to do with either. Tutu, you can't against Cleveland secondary. Dortch is an option, though. Dortch is an option. This guy gets a lot of targets. Brown might be injured. Pittsburgh has trouble covering the slot receivers. This one at 3,700. He scored a touchdown last week. And what you want is PPR points here. You want the guy to have like 6 catches, 60 yards. All of a sudden, you have 4x your salary, or close to, you have 3x, 4x of your salary coming out of Dortch. So I like that. Jamison Williams, he has upside, but he's a flyer play. I'd rather go Dortch. Jawan pass, Elijah pass, Reynolds pass. Moore, I could see too, but they play Dortch in the slot, so I want the slot receiver here. Burks pass. Guyton, no. Parker at 3,300 with Demario Douglas injured. That's kind of interesting. That's interesting to me. I think he can go off. Like, this is at 3,000 guys, 7 points isn't terrible. It would, like, if you take the multiplier, it lands between 2x to 3x, right? And we would never want Tyreek Hill to have 2x to 3x his salary. We want the guy to have 4x, right? We want the guy to explode. But with cheap guys, what this allows you to do is to play someone like Tyreek Hill. So he's a perfectly fine option. A.T. Perry, Again, flyer, but a good flyer. It's a calculated risk. You might get it, you might not. He played all game last week without Olave, Shaheed, Thomas, or whatever, and had 2 targets. So, buyers beware. Mingo, can't do it. Just Bryce Young is disgusting. Pierce, yeah, doesn't get enough volume for me, not consistent volume. Juju can be another one too that can come in and have a good day with Demario out. So again, but all of this like with Demario out, I think is just gonna benefit Stevenson more than these 2 guys. Michael Wilson out. We don't need to talk about him, and that is all she wrote. Right? Is that all she wrote? I think it is. I don't see anyone else I like. Sorry, I'm going hyper speed here. Gotta make sure I don't miss anyone. Yeah, I think we're okay. No, I'm going a little fast. Yeah, okay, I'm not going to scroll through all the 3,000 guys. Okay, tight ends next. Tight ends, who do I like? So for tight ends, Kittle's the highest price. I could see that being fine, but I'm not excited about it. Laporta, again, high priced. I don't know. I prefer to pay down at tight end. Hill, that I'm more excited about because there could be a lot of missing pieces to the Saints like receivers or whatever. So maybe he'll be used more at tight end, receiver, running back, quarterback, whatever. Like this guy's a hat trick every single week. He can get a touchdown 3 different ways. And Schultz is out. McBride questionable. Goddard doubtful. So of the expensive guys, the one I think the top 3 are obviously playable. I'm not giving you any groundbreaking insights there. Not excited to play any of them. Maybe Hill a little bit, but yeah, at those prices, like there are other options between running backs and receivers that I'm more excited about. Like I don't think that Kittle or Laporta are gonna go for 30 and break the slate. Muth 2 weeks in a row. I can't see it. And Arizona's okay against tight ends. I'd rather play Pickens. Njoku, I could see that. Flacco just checking down to Njoku. DTR and him were vibing, but yeah. And Rams obviously not great against tight ends, but there's a cheaper option I like. I'll go down the list. Pitts, really hard to trust the Atlanta passing attack here, guys. Really hard against the Jets. Higbee, not against Cleveland. Damn, Cleveland's number 1 against tight ends, and these guys are really freaking good. Their D is keeping them afloat. That's why, like, you have someone like DTR, Flacco coming in. Like, if they get normal QB play, this is a very solid team, man. Too bad Watson didn't work out for them. Thomas, maybe. Not excited. Here's who I'm excited about. Olave ruled out. Juwan Johnson, I think, is had 7 targets against Atlanta. I like that. I think that Carr likes looking to him like middle of the field or whatever. They don't have a lot of options. Like he rather throw to Juwan than A.T. Perry, right? So I like him as a cheap play. And then going down the list, Jonnu Smith with Desmond Ridder. Like we haven't since Desmond Ridder's came back into the lineup, which happened after the bye, obviously, and he played a little bit in the Arizona game. The guy hasn't really gone off yet. So like this is the this Minnesota game was completely Heineke. This was the last game he had with Ridder where he was benched mid quarter. Like him and Ridder really haven't done anything together since this Week 6 Washington game. So I think maybe when Ridder came back in, he thought like, maybe I should like try to get it more to like Pitts and London or whatever. I mean, he was doing a good job with London, but Pitts was really under targeted, and I don't know that that's changed though. Let's see that last game 2 targets, and too bad he's not on like Buffalo or KC. This guy would go freaking crazy, man. Like he's a tight end 1 waiting to happen. Atlanta's really wasting away at this guy. Oh well. Zach Ertz is released actually, so he should be off the slate. I have a weird feeling he's going to sign with Philly. Philly obviously dealing with the Goddard injury. Conklin, maybe. Maybe, but Boyle's disgusting. Troutman. 2,900. I know he had a touchdown last week, but yeah, he's not getting much outside of that, so forget him. And I think we can call it here. Right? Yeah, we can. I don't think there's anyone down here. All right. Defenses, and then we're done. Okay. So defenses. Chargers, number 1. Hell no. You don't want anything to do with that, guys. Chargers D should not be the most expensive D on the slate. I don't care if it's Bailey Zappi or Mac Jones. Like, no way. Miami D. I could see the logic behind that. I don't want any part of it, though. Pittsburgh D. Okay. I can do that one at 3,800. I'm fine with playing that. Rams D against Flacco. I could see that hitting too. Bucks D I love against Carolina. You have a bad O-line going up against a decent D-line, rookie quarterback. Good recipe. Then you have the Jets and Falcons. Both are pretty much priced in. They're playing really bad QBs, so Falcons had their big defensive touchdown last week. The Jets did as well. They can easily both go for a defensive touchdown in this. Texans, I would pass. I don't think Denver offense is as bad as it was in the beginning of the season. They're coming along. Colts, no way. Browns, no. Maybe Browns. Like, if you want to go cheaper, if you don't want to pay up here, Browns could be an option because their defense is really good, and Rams aren't all that great on offense. Kyron did give him a spark, though. Just they have a lot of injured, like with Kupp injured, like that's a pretty big injury. If Myles Garrett goes, that's definitely a startable play. Okay, wrapping up. You don't want to touch 49ers. Lions, maybe. Maybe if everybody's gone from the Saints, like Olave's out, you can play that. Eagles, you don't want to touch this one either. Titans, no. Saints, no. Broncos, there's no way. Panthers, if you had to go one of the cheap ones, you're gonna call me crazy. So okay, of the expensive ones, let's talk about like who I would like, and I'll tell you guys my cheap play. Of the expensive guys, I like Tampa the most. Then it's sort of a tie between Jets and Falcons for number 2, and then I like Pittsburgh deal a lot in this one too. So those would be like my 4, like over like 3,400. Mid play, I don't love it. Like, I'd rather pay up, but I think Browns would be my play if Garrett's there. And then my cheap play, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I think Patriots are my cheap play this week. I have this weird feeling they're going to beat the Chargers. And you play this if you need $1,000 in salary. Like, you're so confident that one of your receivers, like, you have enough for Mike Evans, but you really want AJ Brown. Like, you have a good feeling about AJ Brown. Downgrade the defense. It's fine. Like, a great defensive matchup is not worth a great wide receiver matchup. It is not the same. So, fill out your lineup with whatever you're comfortable with and see what you're left over at D. If you have all the guys you want in, then you don't need to pay down at D. But it's okay to pay down. It's fine. Like, they'll figure something out. They'll get 5 points somehow, some way. It'll be nasty. They'll get a sack, a pick. Something will happen. The rest is tricky. Very tricky between Panthers and Commanders. So I would side with Patriots. They're at home. Chargers going from west to east. I like that play for them. So okay. Well, that's all I got for you guys week 13. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my content, please drop a note, subscribe. I have a YouTube channel at AndrewDFS. This video will be posted too. As I mentioned in the first part of this pod, we have I've worked for a website, ffmetrics.com, run by RC Fisher, best scouting minds in the game. Definitely want to check him out. Give you a contrarian edge in anything you're doing, whether it's gambling, betting, fantasy football, whatever. He's got it. And I'm also a co-host of a podcast called Huddle Up. Episodes drop Wednesday and Thursday on Spotify. Thank you all so much for your support. And for those of you that stuck through my technical difficulties, thank you. I'm a one-man crew. I'm a freaking wrecking machine. I'm going to get better each week. We're going to keep improving. And yeah, we'll see the improvements. Right now, these are the archaic DFS videos, and hopefully it keeps evolving through time. So really, really appreciate your guys' support and view. Again, leave comment, love feedback. Thank you so much. Best of luck to all your betting endeavors, fantasy betting, otherwise, whatever it may be, however you may be doing it. Hope you guys take a little bit out of this video and apply it to whatever you have your heart set on this weekend, week 13. So best of luck and enjoy the games. We are out.